Our conference is coming to an end. There's a final discussion ahead, in which we would like to talk about the most important thing. Global goals can only be achieved if we work together. Today, a large number of communities have been formed around the world based on common goals and objectives. This is a powerful tool for partnership and developing of new projects, for ensuring economic prosperity by addressing pressing social and cultural issues.
Our next speaker is one whose work actually relates to myself. His mission is to document, cultivate, and empower the emerging virtual influencer industry. Our guest is a brilliant proponent of the virtual influencer space, founder of virtualhumans.org, and a leading expert on virtual influencers. Please welcome Christopher Travers.
Hi, my name is Christopher Travers. I'm the founder of virtualhumans.org. I'm here to tell you how impact is everywhere, especially online. Our world's youngest generations are, in effect, raised on the internet, nurtured to become digital natives. As a result, millennials, Gen Z, and especially the coming alpha generation base core parts of our identity around the moments we spend online. For the 4.6 billion humans with regular internet access, conversations are digital, news sources are digital, role models are digital. Practically every message and everything in the real world now has a virtual representation, a digital double. As someone who grew up consuming and tooling with digital experiences, and now one who builds and creates digital experiences for future generations to do the same, I'm a firsthand witness to the impact modern virtual communities have on identity. The role of digital in how we perceive and react to the world is already massive. It still has so much more room to grow as population grows, as global access to the internet grows, and hopefully as poverty declines. It's clear the insurmountable impact digital experiences have on human worldview and behavior. News, slang, memes, and other mediums spread information virally across the internet, constantly reflecting, transforming, and then finally influencing our reality. Think, what parts of your reality aren't digital experiences impacting in some way? When was the last time you looked something up without using the internet? When was the last day you didn't see a screen? I see one daily. Digital didn't creep into our lives through some happy accident some decades ago. The mass adoption of digital is by design. Recall the use of skeuomorphism in early digital experience design. This is when a digital object mimics its real-world counterpart in appearance or in how the user can interact with it. Skeuomorphism was used to ease humanity's transition into consuming digital experiences by emulating how we interface with the real world. Digital experiences needed to feel like reality, because if they didn't, humans would reject the interface and fail in developing a relationship with said experience. To create truly wonderful digital experiences, you must emulate an offline experience and bring it online. Consider the humanization of experiences in terms of popular, modern social platforms. Fortnite, a video game at face value, emulates messing around with your friends. Discord, a social network, emulates hanging out. Twitch, a live streaming platform, emulates going to a sporting event. TikTok, a short-form video app, emulates discovering something new. In other words, the front end of digital experiences and the front end of the internet as we know it depends entirely on an ability to emulate connection with human beings. To do so, teams use tabs, windows, bookmarks, buttons, canvases, shares, likes, comments, stories, and even influencers. These are designed to emulate reality, even by name, especially influencers. The ultimate step in humanizing digital experiences is to take it literally, though, to create a digital experience that is human from scratch. You have access to technology today to build virtual digital natives on the same mediums digital natives frequent, and earn our trust by playing on our court. Humanizing your message and catering it towards an individual consumer's interests has always been what people preach, endlessly, but very few have taken it literally. Humanize influence. I'm talking about virtual influencers. A virtual influencer is a digital character created in computer graphics software, then given a personality defined by a first-person view of the world, and made accessible on media platforms for the sake of influence. The virtual influencer medium is small. It's currently in its infancy and will grow into an industry defined by building fandom around humanized yet fictional characters designed entirely for these modern social platforms. Virtual influencers are a medium challenging how we interface with information and with each other. Like any innovation, though, virtual influencers come with curious implications. It is crucial we design virtual influencers towards humanitarian ends, towards life-saving ends, tackling real-world problems, much like those laid out by the United Nations. This really applies to all new innovative mediums. The medium is neutral, and the use case originates from the creating team who uses it. Here's the sitch. Should the right teams with humanitarian interest consistently utilize new digital mediums, such as virtual influencers or innovations on the other platforms I mentioned, they can ensure messaging reaches more people faster and with resonance. Bleeding edge digital experiences are always appearing, and it's key we recognize them as a prime connecting point with digital natives. Simply put, the impact of new digital experiences on current and future generations cannot be overstated. For me, as a digital native, explorer, and creator, knowing what's on the horizon is exciting, and knowing the opportunities to bring impact messaging to life using innovative mediums fuels me, especially in the context of the goals of the United Nations. To anyone else developing new digital experiences or building virtual influencers, I have a closing thought. Know you are emulating realities that people, especially the power users among those youngest generations, develop their entire identities off. We all have an opportunity to connect the world through magical, memorable digital experiences. We also have a grander opportunity to ensure the experiences we create promote some lesson based in human reality and drive humanitarian ends while doing so. The internet truly is a powerful tool for inspiring sustainability and humanitarianism in others. Put it to use with care. Thank you.
Our next speaker is a professional community builder. Her projects, World Communication Forum in Davos and Women Influence Community, attract inspired leaders from all over the world. Please welcome Dr. Yanina Dubeykovskaya.
Hello, everybody. I am happy to welcome you to Zambia, where I am currently working with my colleagues on our global projects. And I'm happy to bring Spirit of Africa to Global Impact Conference. Thank you for having me here. And let me share my perception of impact, influence, power terms. Because, impact is very, new narrative to very fundamental movement, which already existed for maybe 100 years. And I think that impact is so powerful as a term because it can unify efforts from different parts of our activities, from business, from communities, from companies, governments, states. And impact means that everyone, whatever he works, can do better things for the whole world, for close environment, for the future, for the present, and for different level of targets. For me, influence and impact are the same. And I'm talking about not because I'm a philosopher, but also because I develop Women Influence Community is one of the main projects I'm doing. And women influence community has influence as the main, like, basic term and philosophical approach. And for us, influence means that this is our footprints in the future. It's what we can really live after our short life. And I think it's the same like impact. Impact is more like maybe measurable. And again, it's like new term on the very, very basic narrative how to improve the world. But for me, influence and impact are about the same. What actually we are doing to improve this world with my colleagues? We have two main projects. World Communication Forum, which already exists more than 11 years. And we started it when Facebook, YouTube just start work globally. And when digital revolution happened, and everyone think about the future in this aspect, in the aspect of digitalization. And I personally push this project and movement because I believed that digital will change everything. Human behavior, style of building relations, state policies, business policies. I was very much idealistic about digitalization 12 years ago. That's why I decided to push this World Communication Forum in Davos, in Switzerland, and we made it there 7 years. Then we moved to Geneva, and we had about 10 regional events. And I'm so happy that now this project comes to Africa, and in Zambia we will have next week World Communication Forum also, which unified speakers, visitors from 7-8 countries, from Africa and also from Europe. So the main idea was not just doing events, it was community building. And the big idea was that now we come to the new era, to a new world where communication will play the role of the main driver of positive changes. And I really believed in that. And I think that we maybe not equally influential as a World Economic Forum. But we tried to unify a new elite around the idea of power of communication as the main driver of more humanistic, more transparent, more trustful world. And we built a community around that, and it is a non-profit organization registered in Switzerland, and we're still working there, and we still believe in those ideas. My second project is Women Influence Community and Forums. You know, everyone trying to improve the world on the way he or she can do. I can do events, and I can build and develop communities. I like how mindset of different people from different cultures become the same in this, like, value, become the same and based on similar values. It is what I mean under the community building. So Women Influence Community and Forum is more social community. It is not very much oriented on business, markets, like World Communication Forum community. Because when we did World Communication Forum, we understood that now big markets open in each country. Means everyone can produce content to be player on media landscape. You don't need any more like big, huge investment. You can develop it with low investment, low money, low efforts. So it was, and it is about business also. But women influence communities, like pure influence measured in values. And the idea is to unify the strongest and influential women from different countries. But not just women on the highest social hierarchy position. but women mission charge who really would like to use their potential to improve the world. Now you see that I'm very idealistic person. I am doctor of philosophy, and this is like my profession, to dream and to inspire others to dream, to think big, to believe in the better future, to do small things around us, to improve the world, to do big things with risk on our shoulders, like big events in Davos, in Paris. It's always big risks also, and it's very, very difficult to fundraise to all good projects you would like to do. But so, yes. But first, I'm really person who would like to spend my time, my life, to improvement of my social environment through projects I'm doing, through lifestyle I have, and yes, especially here in Africa, I would like to share with you that here I'm not only pushing these big things, because after World Communication Forum, next day we will have Women Influence Forum here, second in Africa, first we had a year ago in Cape Town, but anyway, I'm always trying to find right partners, and fortunately here in Zambia I have right partners to do that. Without that, nothing is possible. But also I'm doing, it's not small things, because influence cannot be measured in, and impact cannot be measured very well in numbers. Sometimes you change just single life, single person mindset, and it brings like huge results in the future. That's why I'm working here very passionate with young people here. So we have 2 projects here, despite of these global communities activities. It's I'm doing creative classes for like 18, 20 years old students. It's about drama, filming, public speaking, self-expression. And also we have a project here with girls. They are playing football, and they're living in the very like pure part of the city. And we do teaching for them. We try to not only teach them, but open the world for them. And it's also impact. Impact, it's not only big projects. To change the world, we cannot, sometimes it's impossible to a single person to influence the globe. I'm so lucky that in my life I have this opportunity to build international communities, to raise money, to do big events, to unify great women and communication professionals. But sometimes you can do a lot by yourself, next day, today, for your environment, for people who are around us. But back to big things. How I can measure influence or impact, and how I measure our results during those 12 years. I think that, you know, I was like 40 when I started that. Now I'm 52. And even I see people who are around me during those periods, they changed. And I saw how changed their mindset, their environment. And I feel that we all in those communities influence each other, and to open secret parts of our soul, of our mind, and became another person. I definitely, through those activities, I definitely become another person. And so it's like changing of quality, of life understanding, of level of happiness of all members of community. I think it's also not can be measured in numbers, but anyway, it can be feeling and measured. Also, I think that when you start any social work, any social project, everybody are inspired. But in maybe 6 months, sometimes if you are very lucky, in 1 year, everyone switch their attention to their everyday needs, everyday projects. So to keep this fire in social projects, it's like very, very professional. It should be very professional work. To keep the fire in the community building requires a lot of professional skills and also personal skills and also a lot of believings in the target you are working on. Without this, it cannot be possible. So I think that if community exists during the time, if community exists during the time more than 1 year, it's already big success. If people still need each other, if people still spend their time, money, efforts, skills to common project, it means that this is real and influential community if this influence we measure in right values. So to influence the future, to impact the future, you not only need power, right procedures, budget. It's only based on your personal choice, on your personal decision. If you would like to do something big, because doing something big doesn't mean that you have 100 people around you, you have high budget. No, big things is to make somebody happy, to save happiness inside of you, to keep this fire of believing in the better future and influence your close environment. It's also impact, it's also influence. And you can also combine small things, big things. The only impactful, influential thing is right values and its implementation through different levels and through different projects in the future. It's the only what makes sense. Thank you very much, and let's arise global impact together.
Next up, we have a speaker who is one of the 500 most influential people in the global PR industry, according to PR Week. We are delighted to welcome the Senior Vice President and Chief Sustainability Officer of Globe Telecom Incorporated, the Philippines, leading mobile operator Maria Yolanda Crisanto.
Good day and welcome to the 2020 Global Impact Conference. In the next 7 minutes, I will be talking about the importance of communities in the modern world and my own personal experience in building communities of practice. Thank you to the organizers for inviting me. I am truly honored to be addressing global sustainability champions gathered here today. Let me start by talking about where I come from. The Philippines is the country located in Southeast Asia with over 108 million people. Today, I represent Globe, the mobile leader in the country serving over 80 million customers nationwide. Aside from being a mobile network operator, our company has investments in key sectors such as fintech, healthcare, and venture capital. We are a purpose-driven company, and our vision is to see a Philippines where families' dreams come true, businesses flourish, and the nation is admired. Our purpose is that in everything we do, we treat people right to do a globe of good. Our practice of working with communities started in 2008, when we voluntarily reported our ESG initiatives, which we appropriately called the Globe Bridging Communities. Through time, our journey matured from philanthropy to building communities of practice, and in 2016, we started to embrace sustainability practices and a public declaration of committing to contribute to 10 of the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. And because of who we are as a business, we've identified UN SDG 9, which stands for Industry, Innovation, and Infrastructure, to be our focus area. In 2019, we became a signatory to the UN Global Compact, thus strengthening our commitment to sustainable development. Our sustainability strategy has 4 pillars: care for people, care for the environment, positive societal impact, and building a digital nation. As a mobile network operator, we leverage our business strengths on innovation and connecting people through mobile and the internet. Therefore, at the core of all of our programs, our solutions make use of technology to create sustainable social and environmental impact. I will be giving a few examples of how we bridge communities both on ground and online. Let me start in the area of climate action and disaster response and why this is important. Due to our geographical location, the Philippines is highly vulnerable to extreme weather conditions, regularly experiencing about 20 typhoons a year. So we look for nature-based solutions, such as rainforestation and watershed conservation, to help mitigate the impact of extreme weather conditions, such as landslides and flooding. We work with the government and other partner organizations in providing early warning systems through text messages and disaster resiliency programs to mitigate impacts. In doing relief operations, for instance, the local government units on ground and our partner retailers work hand in hand to immediately mobilize relief operations, which include free calls, free text, and free internet, plus distribution of relief goods to those most severely affected. Disaster relief is never cheap. Yet, we discovered that in times of disaster, a lot of people are willing to help, including our very own customers. So, we enabled our Globe Rewards mobile application to include a digital donation facility that empowers customers to donate their rewards points and immediately turn this into cash. As an example, at the onset of the pandemic, we used our rewards platform to allow our customers to help frontliners. We were able to raise 37 million pesos, or the equivalent of 750,000 US dollars. This money we used to buy food, equipment, and a lot of other things to help our frontliners. The impact to the community is immediate and enormously helpful. Most of all, we don't have to waste time waiting for someone to tell us what to do. We do it as fast as we can using our own resources like a light switch that you can just turn on and off. More than this, the impact to our brand is tremendous. Social media lights up with people thanking Globe for the support and help we provide. Our customers see our brand in action, actively working with the community at the time that they need us most. Another area that I would like to talk about is cyber wellness and mental health. As an internet service provider, we have a responsibility to educate our customers, especially the young people, on how to use technology responsibly. Together with Singtel and Optus, we created the Digital Thumbprint program that promotes responsible use of the internet, most especially the avoidance of cyberbullying, fake news, online piracy, online child pornography, and mental health awareness. We created platforms, including a Facebook site, offline lectures and webinars to reach out to the school ecosystem of teachers, students, and parents to create safe online communities. In terms of impact, DTP has been accepted by our Department of Education for inclusion in all schools' curriculum starting school year 2020. We've engaged over 115,000 teachers, 2 million students, thousands of parents and advocates. DTP is an award-winning program which we are really, really proud of. Specific to mental health awareness, this is spot on during this COVID-19 pandemic. Issues of stress, anxiety, and depression were magnified and linked to isolation because of the lockdowns. What we have done is we have maximized the digital space to help expand the support system for mental health through programs like Hope Bank. Hope Bank is an online support community, particularly for frontliners and patients, suffering from COVID-19 and other illnesses. We have a New Day webinar series using experts designed to increase understanding of mental health issues amongst the online community. And finally, there's Hope Chat. Hope Chat is an on-demand service using professional psychologists available 24/7, which we offered exclusively for our Globe employees. In closing, let me share my personal learnings that I have picked up along the way as I pursue my work in sustainability. First, focus on impact. Look at how much further you can go to enrich lives by constantly looking for opportunities to scale your work. Second, collaborate with the right partners who are equally determined as you are and who share your values. And finally, third, you cannot do this alone. The task at hand is so huge, so you will need all the help that you can get from the other stakeholders. I hope that you've learned something from this talk, and I'm very happy again for being here and sharing this with you. Enjoy the conference.
We are thrilled to introduce a physician and expert with nearly 30 years of experience in the public health and emergency sectors. She currently leads education, learning, and capacity building for the WHO Health Emergencies Program and is responsible for delivering COVID-19 training. Please welcome the head of learning and capacity development at the World Health Organization, Gaya Gamhewage.
I'm honored to join you today as the keynote speaker at the Global Impact Conference. I'm excited to share a few ideas with you about communities in the modern world. While it's not new, the big idea here is that we can only meet common goals, big goals, whether it's in education, in energy, or in public health, if we work together. A community is a social unit made up of individuals. You know this. But a community is connected by one or more attributes. It could be we share a norm, a set of values, we share a religion, but it could also be we share a physical space, like in a village or a town, or a school or workplace. Or it could be that we share a virtual space because we have that ability through communication technology. But a community is really important because unless a group of people with these shared issues work together, there is no way we can address global problems. The benefits of community are well known. Communities crowdsource knowledge, build valuable connections, are a source of inspiration, resources, and support. What we cannot do alone, we can do in communities. And doing this together, doing things together, is exactly what the human brain loves. A growing body of research shows that the need to connect socially with others is a basic need. It's as basic as food, water, and shelter. According to UCLA professor Matthew Lieberman, the brain loves to connect. We are wired to connect. Neuroscience explains how we need to be connected to others. All mammals have this trait, but it's very high in humans. Functional magnetic resonance imaging shows that neural mechanisms make us profoundly social beings. Community allows us to thrive and survive, not just to solve problems. Being socially connected is our brain's lifelong passion, according to Professor Lieberman. It's baked into our operating system for tens of millions of years. As a medical doctor, this fascinates me, and I really am considering the profound nature of what is being said. Our disposition for this social connection could even explain why we have taken up social media, social connections in the virtual space so freely and so willingly. Massive transformations in digital technology and biotech have firmly propelled us into the fourth industrial revolution. For people like me from Generation X, our lives are being completely transformed. I was 36 years old before I had my own personal computer at work. But this internet and digital technology is just part of life for millennials and Generation Y. For me, as a digital immigrant, and for many people who are in leadership positions like me of the same age, we are having to find our own way to connect with communities using digital technology. And me, myself, I'm just beginning to appreciate the potentials that digital technology has for creating, maintaining, thriving communities that come together around knowledge and problem solving. Digital technologies will be essential for what happens in the next few decades. But we've come to realize at the same time that relationships between humans is even more important than before. As we move from a digital age to a social age, the recognition of the connection between humans is very important. In this new age, we are seeing new concepts gaining even more importance. Social contract between people, between systems, between organizations, capital contract, social capital, social learning, social leadership, social entrepreneurship, co-creation of knowledge, and the co-creation of meaning. All of these are underpinned by values such as authenticity, humility, trust, fairness, and community. So, how have I built up community? Well, the first thing was to identify that both biology and values play a role. And these are the engine between biology and our values that allow for us to collaborate in communities, networks, and ecosystems. The values and attributes that have stood the test of time for me in being part of communities, managing communities, and supporting ecosystems have been severalfold. First, I think open-mindedness and hunger to learn from others, and the courage to unlearn the hierarchies and the entitlements that come from our formal education and our institutional cultures. Second, the deep value to be of service to others and to do everything you can to ensure that the community, the ecosystem is equitable and fair for everybody, acknowledging everybody's role, giving them visibility, but sharing in the benefits and the fruits. Third, I've learned to see leadership in a nurturing light, and I'm comfortable in the shadows and not being in the limelight all the time. Fourth, appreciation and humility, that knowledge is not owned by any single person or institution, and that my knowledge is part and parcel and connected to the big picture. This one was particularly difficult as an expert. Fifth, the ability to build trust so that others are equally open, equally sharing, and equally humble. To collaborate, not compete. And 6, to be confident to allow people to see the real you, that you're competent and caring in equal measure. I'm fully convinced that to address the massive challenges that we have today, climate change, public health, the impact of digital transformation, the energy transformation, the disruptions to the labor market and our economies, we must work in community and using an ecosystems approach. This approach is complex and ever-changing. It means we must leave our comfort zones and be open-minded. I'm currently part of a massive effort to create global community to ensure equitable, lifelong learning for anyone who works in health, with the objective of improving public health at global, national, and individual levels. This ecosystem will include many other sub-ecosystems and communities. It will grow over time. Sometimes I will be a leader, sometimes I will be a follower, sometimes I will be an observer, sometimes I will be an actor. No one will be in control. Rather, it will evolve based on the principles, the values, and the goals we agree on. Everything will be organic to ensure creativity and impact within our value system and our principles. This approach requires participatory methodology on a scale never used before and a scale that has never been used using digital technology. There is massive potential that digital technology has to connect people and our systems and to bring people in who would otherwise be excluded. Apart from solving the problem that humanity faces, the community or ecosystems approach will undoubtedly increase equity across the human species to help us not just survive, but to thrive, to help us not just survive, but to thrive in the 21st century. Thank you. Istuti. My message to all of you at this year's end is to stay safe and to make sure that everyone around you stays safe too. It has been a devastating pandemic. I really ask you as a public health expert, but also just as a person, to follow all public health advice in its entirety. Wash your hands, wear a mask where you're required to, maintain social distance, and protect the vulnerable. I invite you to join the Global Impact Conference to connect and contribute towards addressing some of the big challenges of our time. Thank you for joining me at the Global Impact Conference.
It is a pleasure to welcome the President of the International Youth Nuclear Congress, the IYNC, to our conference. She earned a PhD at the Grenoble-Alpes University, MSc, in Energy and Physics Research, and is the President of the International Youth Nuclear Congress. Lena Andriolo is here with us today.
It's great to be here with you. I'm Lena Andriolo. I'm a nuclear research engineer at EDF, and today I'm here as President of the International Youth Nuclear Congress, also known as IYNC, to discuss the fact that impact is everywhere. And I'm going to start with my own life as example. If I'm here with you today, it is because of individuals that have inspired me to become who I am. It started with my parents, who gave me the tools to feel empowered to pursue a career of my choice. They supported me when I decided to join the science and technology area, and more specifically the nuclear engineering one, which was actually a huge thing if you consider that they were not really pro-nuclear in their youth. My current career path has been shaped by this one particular professor during my studies in Grenoble, who was passionate about nuclear science, but also my tutors and work colleagues who inspired me to stay in the field. And I wouldn't be here with you today if it wasn't for a friend of mine who kept spamming me with posts on social media about one organization named the IYNC while I was doing my PhD. You see, back in 1997, there was this group of young professionals who believed that their efforts in promoting the nuclear industry in their respective countries would have more impact if integrated globally. So they gathered people from all around the world, got them to collaborate, and with the support of other institutions and organizations like the IAEA, hosted the first ever in-person International Youth Nuclear Congress in Bratislava. And this is how the IYNC was born. I find it quite remarkable what a handful of people could achieve by working together and believing in their dreams. They created this community that had not only an impact on the nuclear field, but much beyond. Since its creation, the IYNC has grown beyond its primary activity, the biennial congress, in large parts thanks to the development of the internet and modern digital tools, and has become what it is today. A global network that connects thousands of young professionals worldwide. This community counts over 50 member countries at its board of directors and has for mission to promote the benefits of nuclear science and applications, including nuclear power as a low-carbon energy source as part of a balanced energy mix, and to facilitate knowledge transfer between generations and across boundaries. On a daily basis, the organization is run by a team of 14 officers who are on 5 different continents. And what keeps us going is our passion. We are passionate enough, or some might also say crazy enough, to wake up in the middle of the night on weekends to connect online with our colleagues in Sydney, Buenos Aires, or Dubai to ensure that we are able to fulfill our mission. The way you can see the IYNC is as a network of networks. At the heart of our organization are the young generation in nuclear networks, the YGNs. These groups of young people, professionals, students in a given country who are passionate about nuclear science and technology and believe in the benefits of it for the welfare of mankind. These groups can be composed of people about a dozen or about 100 in some countries like the US. Every 2 years, the IYNC teams up with a YGN from a member country to plan our major in-person event, the IYNC conference. And the impact this event has on the local and global scale is impressive. Let me give you the example of the one we hosted in Argentina in 2018. At that time, the Argentinian young generation was just created. They took this opportunity to develop and connect with leaders and industries in the nuclear area in Latin America. At the conference, over 400 participants from all around the world came together and joined us together with renowned leaders such as CEOs or heads of international organizations. After the event, the Argentinian young generation was able to maintain long-lasting relationships, and the event helped grow the nuclear community in Latin America. But for me, the impact of our IYNC goes and has to go much beyond the nuclear area. And to be able to achieve this, we have to be inspirational in other fields than the nuclear one. Inspirational in the sense of encouraging youth to think out of the box to come up with new innovative solutions towards reaching the Sustainable Development Goals. We do this at IYNC through our International Innovation for Nuclear contest. At this contest, winners from already existing local or newly established regional innovation contests come together to compete at an international level. We also need to have an impact on gender equality and equal opportunity agenda. This is why in 2018 we teamed up with Women in Nuclear to organize a joint conference and contributed one step further to normalizing women into science and technology areas. At our conference in Sydney in 2020, we were not only gender balanced, but most importantly provided role models to ensure that this balance lasts. And more globally, we ensure to have diversity at our events through a very strong grants program, because we believe that the world needs to hear diverse voices. We also try to have an impact to make the youth feel empowered and become future leaders. I started as a participant in 2014 at the conference and got so inspired by the energy and diversity of the young people around me that I decided to join the community. And what I still love first and foremost about this global community is the people that compose it. The IYNC has allowed me to grow both personally and professionally, giving me the opportunity to be in a leadership position. I was involved in the organization of 2 conferences before becoming vice president and now president of IYNC. For me, it enables the young people from all continents to network and meet with C-level executives, which they would not have met otherwise. It triggers long-lasting relationships, and we are reinforcing these opportunities through the development of a long-term mentoring program. We also believe in the power of collaborations. Coming from a multicultural family, I know the benefits of confronting new ideas interculturally and share the best of practices of every country. It's only then that you create the best advances in modern society, and I'm convinced that through global collaborations, we will be able to tackle the challenges of the present and of the future. And this is why at the IYNC we team up with other organizations to promote the use of all low-carbon energy sources and unite our voices towards meeting the climate change agenda. So yes, impact is indeed everywhere and available to everyone. You can have it through individuals, communities, and organizations. But it is the strongest when you have people that care, are working together, and believing in the common good of what they are doing. Thank you very much.